Got it.
Okay, I'm going to push go live. It'll probably take an extra minute because I'm out on the shitty internet at my parents' house. So,
Little house on the prairie.
Colorado Springs internet.
if
Colorado Springs.
Springs, it wouldn't be so bad. But mom and dad live about half an hour outside of the Springs, out on the plains.
Yeah, she has unincorporated internet.
Oh.
It's still El Paso County. All right, pushing the button.
Right now, the fax machine noise would be helpful.
Or the old dial-up noise.
Yeah.
Stash, that's your cue.
Shit.
He's not paying attention.
I know. I like right when the trailer got to the part I wanted is, of course, right when you waved. From the greatest minds from around the world, this is the Nerds That Know. Stash here, and I am totally on top of the game today, as you can tell. You know what, guys? It has been a week. Let me tell you, it has been a week.
It's Monday.
It's been a week and
I'm
one day.
saying since our last show, it has been a week.
Oh, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, there you go. You figure that out, Smurf, or do I have to explain it to you again?
Yeah, explain it to me again, you pinchy bitch.
Well, see, Smurf, time can be subjective to a certain other point, and therefore there is no absolute week. Okay.
It's all
So-
wobbly, tiny.
I can go slower if you want and draw pictures.
So you're telling me my future self is going to get eaten in a cave down by the river?
I hope.
Depending on which river, that might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that could be cool.
It's true. But, I mean, who knows? It'll be a lame river because that's how life goes.
Smurf here.
Introduce yourself, my minions. I was going to introduce you all as trolls, goblins, or ghouls, but I wasn't paying attention when I got the cue.
Noticed.
Yeah, way to go.
Actually, this weekend I was a Viscountess at the Unicorn Festival, so we'll go with that.
That's fun.
Yeah, I got to wear a hoop skirt and, the whole bit for both days.
I saw the outfit you posted. It was very intricate, looked very nice.
The green one or the white one?
Green one. I like the green one.
I made the headpiece.
Nice. All right. Why was the turnout for the Unicorn Festival? I know there was a lot of talk about it, but I didn't really see how the turnout was.
It was really good. It was super crowded, but not like freakishly so because, it's in a park. It actually probably had a better turnout this year than it did the first time I went, which was 2 years ago with Tanks Girls. My sister and I took the girls to the Unicorn Festival. There were a lot more vendors there this year. The costume contest had like 75 participants.
Oh, my.
So,
I saw it. It was a bunch of little girls in tutus with horns. It was freaking hilarious. It was like overload on adorable and sugar. It was just, I got a cavity just watching it.
There were some adults in the costume contest as well, and some of their outfits were really intricate. So
Hopefully it didn't get rained out like we did.
it did. It got rained out both days.
God, the rain has been a business killer the last month. It is. People are afraid of rain for some reason down here. I'm really not sure why. We deal with snow quite regularly. I'm not sure why rain is that scary, but it keeps everyone in their houses.
Well, snow you can brush off your shoulders. Rain gets you wet, and not meant
Yeah,
to
but
be wet.
who doesn't like getting wet sometimes?
Exactly.
It wasn't bad until it started being like the super huge drops.
Oh,
And then it was one of those things like the paper parasols that we had with us did not do well in the rain.
That's a bad end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those things are worthless.
No.
yeah.
They're like the high
Popcorn.
quality, not like the crappy ones that go in a drink. But they survived. It
Yeah,
just
'cause we had our PopCon down here and both days got rained.
Yeah.
Killed a lot of the traffic, unfortunately.
Well, I am sorry, that is unfortunate. I enjoyed the rain because it made bike ride weather quite agreeable. So I had a great weekend.
Yeah, I was in the studio working on the podcast and filming a cocktail, so I was fine. We just watched the torrential downpour. It was amazing.
I guess like over by my house got flooded out so much that the highway closed.
Sweet.
Yeah. I didn't believe it, but my friend showed me pictures of the highway and I was like, oh my God. All this rain fell in like a 10-minute period. It was so strange. But it was awesome. Well, fun things were done this weekend. I mean, I went over and watched babysitter movies with a couple friends of mine. I watched The Babysitter Killer Queen, and then Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh, classic film.
Yep. All three very good.
Have
And
that,
very
Rose.
good use of my time.
Interesting lineup.
How'd you get on the babysitter topic?
I wanted
why
them to watch the babysitter movies because I love them and they're really good. They're on Netflix.
Okay.
And essentially they're like spoofs, but they're very well done spoofs of horror movies. They essentially take every horror trope and refine it down into a single character and make that character nothing but their trope. And then they die in the way that is appropriate to die for their trope. It's very interesting and very entertaining to watch. I highly recommend it.
So Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, but you didn't watch Adventures in Babysitting, which also has Michael Coogan in it.
We watched 3 babysitter movies. I wanted to go home.
You're missing the best one. Come on.
I don't know. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is a pretty quality movie and a lot more raunchy than I realized.
Oh yeah, that's a filthy movie. It's dirty.
Yeah. It's great.
I think that was a prerequisite for every movie of that decade.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean,
The one thing. Go ahead. I was just going to segue us into one of our topics. That's all.
Go. Be free.
Be free. Free, my little Smurfling. Be free. Because when I watched, I got caught up on the Bad Batch, which is just so like bomb-droppingly awesome. I cannot believe the atom bomb that they dropped, and it was absolutely spectacular.
It's the pickup we've been waiting for, to be honest.
It is. It really sets the stage for the rest of the show, and it is. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely just like, wow, they just spelled it all out for us.
Well, I'm glad because as of this weekend, I think it's the first time I've heard any real news coverage of that show. So they clearly did something right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's just been all a bunch of setup to this point and just kind of getting you hooked on the characters. And it was just
See, but
wow.
I think this did a lot more to hook me on the show and characters than the last 3 episodes.
It's true. I'm kind of in there with you. I mean, the last couple of episodes they've really ramped up. We're seeing characters get killed off, which is always exciting.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's a fun game. Who dies this week?
Yeah. Who eats it this week?
We haven't had that for a couple years, ever since they, George R. ended his universe in the cinematic ways.
Yes. So the question that remains is what happens to Omega? Because she doesn't make it, at least that I'm aware of.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Hopefully they give us an answer to that, to be honest.
And given the reveal of who she is, I'm wondering if there's going to be a up close and personal meeting with her and her brother.
There would have to be, I'm assuming. But
perhaps.
Well, that's an interesting perspective, though. Would it take place in this show?
It would have to.
In theory, yeah.
Because they would be relatively close to the same age.
Well, yeah, but the Star Wars universe, they kind of, play with
whatever they want.
Yeah, like characters show up randomly in different ways at weird times sometimes. So, like, as weird as it sounds, they could literally do all the setup during the animated show and pay it off at in Book of Boba or something like that, where you get like a flashback or something.
I thought about that, but that would just be really disjointing, I think. But it would be cool.
That's Star Wars. It's incredibly disjointing. How many times have they retconned shit in this series?
All right, good point.
Darth Maul died 5 times, I'm pretty sure.
Well, they just kept cutting limbs off and replacing them with robot parts. So
eventually, he was a head on a spider body. He looked like that weird baby from Toy Story.
Which is still not as creepy as the original sketches for his character.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And that race that, with the brain in the jar, that's Bomar Monk. And that's actually part of his religion, to have his brain taken out of his body and put in the little bowl with the spider legs and all of that. You see it in Jabba's palace.
But no, overall though, Bad Batch, this is the best. This is the best episode so far, and honestly the best one in a few weeks. It was really good. It's worth watching. If you haven't followed along, you're not a huge Star Wars junkie, I get it. But if you just haven't followed along because you're not sure and you like Star Wars, it's worth it. It's worth investing the time to get to this point. Now,
yes.
How many more episodes do we have in this season?
7?
6, 7, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a season.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 16 episodes, I think. I can't remember. I think it's supposed to be 16, though.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, though. I'm glad I finally turned, because I know I was talking to Tank about it last week, and he was saying it was a bit of a rough week.
The storyline hasn't grabbed me. It finally did it today. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is what I want. This is that big lore reveal that the reason I enjoy Star Wars is because of that, the giant fight scenes that are, really long and dramatic, and then this just weird lore drop all of a sudden. Those are the things that I like.
We got the buy-in finally.
Yeah.
Finally, we got the buy-in.
Exactly, and that's what this was. It was the one like, oh, it's worth watching. Cool. All right, thanks for that.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, overall good though.
Yeah.
Well, I will never go back. I tried, and I can't do it, man. I just don't care about Star Wars enough. It's boring.
It's fine. It's not for everyone.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a little,
Sure.
maybe it's above your station. We can draw you some diagrams, some pie charts, pictures, put some little paragraphs on the back for you later. It'll be good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do need flashcards always.
If I'm going to be 100% honest, how many episodes did you watch?
3.
Jump in on this one and just watch this one, the one that
Yes.
just came out. It connects a big part of the story.
I'll think about it.
It might actually be worth your time just for the story, the single story that they kind of tell that connects to like the beginning and I'm guessing the end of the season. It is actually kind of cool.
Well, I'll give it some thought and see. I mean, they're only a half hour long, so they're not a huge time sink, but it's just remembering it. We'll see.
Gotcha.
If nothing else, I've been watching Loki on Disney Plus.
Ooh.
They have drawn me in on this show, but not in the way that either of the other shows did. I'm intrigued because I know a big chunk of what's going on, but that last episode gave me the 10-9. What is that stupid movie? Nolan did it. The tops and the dreamscapes and all that shit.
Inception?
This week had its weird Inception point that made me not fully believe what we were seeing is actually happening.
I feel the same way. I feel like at the end of this last episode, I was thinking a lot of this was a let's call it an illusion.
An enchantment,
imaginary.
A glimmer, maybe?
that it might be. We can get control of him.
Some might call it an enchantment.
Yeah. Some of it might call it an illusion.
Yes.
Depending on who it's coming from. Because it felt disconnected from what has happened previously in certain ways.
See,
Well,
I think you're
is.
looking at it the wrong way, though. I think we're looking at the wrong game. I think this is Loki.
That's what I'm actually saying. It's Loki.
No, it's the Enchantress. I'm sticking to my guns. I've been saying this since episode 1. It's the Enchantress. It's her power set. It's a bigger picture. But I don't think it's her messing with Loki. I think it's Loki messing with her.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
This episode was Loki playing a shell game with who we're being told right now is what is Sal I can't remember. Sylvie, yes, thank you.
Sylvie.
Who could potentially be Loki, could be Enchantress, could be a few different things.
I did some research on the Enchantress last night or the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And Selene is the name of one of the Enchantress.
Yes, it is.
So I was like, oh, that's a pretty big giveaway. But the thing I didn't realize is that Loki technically gives her abilities from what I read up. And it's really interesting if perhaps she stole her abilities from like maybe another Loki. I read a lot of conflicting things because there's 2 characters called Enchantress, and she learns abilities very differently. One is she's given them by Loki. One of them is she's like an Asgardian that steals them from other like really famous wizards and their ilk. But I don't know. The thing I was really intrigued about is if she is Enchantress, she is a really good rival for the Scarlet Witch. I was reading up on their dynamic, and it's really interesting.
Oh, it's a good fight between the two of them.
A low-level version of Scarlet Witch? Yeah, her powered up, she'd nuke Enchantress. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't tap Scarlet Witch when she's going full
which goes full House of M.
Yeah, when she goes full Nexus, you can't. There's not really many entities in the universe that can keep up with her.
Mhm.
But if the Enchantress can touch her and fool her long enough,
Oh yeah,
it
she could do some shit.
probably fuck her up.
Yeah,
But I think Loki pulling out the data pad and it disintegrating in front of them is the illusion.
I agree. I think that
I
is
think so
when we
also.
switched what was happening to
Yep.
a whole different story.
Yeah, because that's at that point he wants to know who this is. He knows it's not him or a
Mhm.
virgin. So he's trying to find out, and he's fishing the entire time, and he's going to take it right up to the very end and go, "Oh, hey, look what I found," and get him off, or something else pops up. But he's playing a long game right now.
Well, there's only like 2 other possibilities, and one of those we've basically been told is not going to happen.
Mhm.
We are not going to be getting Nate at any point in time, it looks like. So
So
that's basically out the window right now.
we'll see. I don't know. There could be another reveal for another character. Morbius could show up and actually find them and get them out of there,
Mhm.
which is another possibility. And there's also the conductor, which we really haven't seen anything of from the Time Bureau to get them off the planet. So
The conductor? Who's that?
it's another part of the story that happens in the Fantastic Four with the train, and I thought that's where we were going when they got on the train to begin with before they got thrown off. I thought it was going to be like the time train and the conductor and all of that, and they still may do that, and I don't want to ruin the story, but they're part of the time Bureau.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of my cohorts came up with a very interesting theory on the time watchers. What's their names? The
Which
lizard
ones? The keepers of
lizard.
time? Those people?
Timekeepers?
Timekeepers.
Timekeepers?
He has a theory that they're actually watchers from failed timelines.
Well, we know. Well, it depends on which. I guess it depends on what storyline they're going with. I mean, traditionally they're not, but
Traditionally, they're not, but we did get a glimpse of them in a couple of other movies, Guardians, of course. But is that a possibility? I hadn't even thought about that, and I was like, that's not bad. And then the other theory that I've been kind of working around with is the war that we hear about in the first episode hasn't happened yet. That the war that creates all of the variances and all of that, and they go to war, is coming. It's the precursor, and they're setting up with a little foreshadowing of the war coming. It hasn't happened yet.
well, they've left a trail for that, and they've kind of hinted it. I mean, they gave us the big lore reveal about who actually is the Time Bureau.
Yes.
Mhm.
They gave us that already. They told us flat out, like, no, it's not what it looks like.
Yep.
It's a lie. A giant part of the story is a complete lie.
Mhm.
So
And I don't think it's the people in the Time Bureau. I think it is the Time Bureau and how it all shakes out. So I'll be curious to see if his theory comes true or what. I'm kind of anxious and excited all at once.
Well, and the whole reason I was kind of following the idea of, like, what you said with the Morbius potentially coming through and them potentially typing into KC, they focus very heavily on the middle of the timekeepers. There's 3 guys, but they always focus on the center one. And he has a very distinct look to him that is familiar to comic book readers. And that's why the whole time I was like, they got to be doing this somehow, but they basically said that that's not going to happen. So,
But they've said that before.
yeah, but not so definitively. Like, everyone involved seems to be saying, no, he's not showing up. He is here. He has been picked. He has been cast. He's not showing up during Loki. So,
well, we only have 3 episodes left before this all wraps up. So
I can't believe we haven't had a single bonus scene yet.
Not yet, but I think we just hit the halfway mark. So
Yeah, it'll probably
Yeah.
be coming this week or next week.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, I think it's a solid show. I feel like they've done a really good job, and it made me realize how ignorant I am of this specific area of Marvel comics. So I was doing quite a bit of research. I'm really intrigued by the Executioner.
yeah, the Executioner we already saw.
We did see Executioner.
Yep, we already saw the Executioner at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yes.
That's who Carl Urban's character
Yeah.
is.
Carl Urban is the Executioner.
Yep.
It just goes
Not to say that he might not show up, but I mean that's his character. That's who he is.
Yeah.
It
Well,
just
if
goes to show that
she,
everything is interconnected.
What was that?
But it
Sorry
just
about
goes to show that everything is connected.
That'd be good, like if they did kind of bring him in all of a sudden, because as far as we know, he's not
He could have lived.
dead.
We don't know what Asgardians died and which ones lived. So.
Yeah, we just know that it got blown up and there's not many left. So
Yeah. And he did have his his redemption moment. So, and I like Carl Urban. I really do as an actor. So I'd like to see him come back as the Executioner. I think that would be
especially now that he'd be like at this point, unless something weird happens, he'd be like a full-on good guy, I guess, at this point.
It would, unless, and I really hope they don't do this. If they go with like the Thunderstruck or some other stupid Thor character, that would just annoy the shit out of me.
How about that version of Ragnarok?
Maybe.
That'd be weird, but
that'd be too
doable.
weird. That again, I know it's Marvel. It's supposed to be disjointed, but that I don't know. That'd be just kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm still toying with the idea that our Celine is trying to prevent Ragnarok. Like, it's just, I feel like I'm picking up on too many details of them focusing. Like when Loki looked at that apocalypse and there was a specific number of how many people died, how many Asgardians, and like his reaction, I was like, I feel like something is going to happen with Asgard.
No, and it's possible. I mean, and Enchantress did put those time bombs out in, specific areas for specific reasons to create specific variances. So there's still that plan that I don't think we've seen come to fruition.
Oh, yeah, we have no idea what's spinning out of that at this point. There could be all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, honestly, that little bomb drop could be, playing into what's going to happen with No Way Home.
Or Doctor Strange.
Or, Multiverse of Madness, or any number of things could be a result of what's happening there.
Yep. Well, 3 episodes left. We'll see what happens.
I really like the lifting they've been doing with the show, though. I've very much enjoyed it.
Yep. At least it's less talking, sort of.
There's been a lot of talking.
There's a lot
of talking.
There's so much talking.
It's just the characters are a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I guess so. They got a lot more to say. And I did like Tom Hiddleston singing. I liked Loki sitting in the bar singing a little Jotunheim doodle. That was great. It's like, yes.
Getting all hammered.
Yeah.
No, I'm not drunk. I'm full.
I'm full. I'm way past full.
All right, guys. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, while we're on the topic of Loki, let's switch over to Scarlet Witch and the fact that they are tweaking the final episode and the end credit scenes to play into Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, they switched up the background for sure. Everyone kind of is seeing this ghost appearing in the left part of the screen, drifting down towards the cabin. Based on my understanding of it, because I looked at it and compared it to the original cut and everything like that. I'm fairly certain that is nothing. That's a ghost from the edit. They edited one of the windows if you track the entire shot, because it's done as a single shot. It's paying homage to Sam Raimi. They're doing a single shot take of this drifting down and into the house. And that little ghosting image, when you get all the way down to where the cabin is, you can see that they've adjusted a lens flare that was happening in the window.
Mhm.
And I think that's all that was. I think they were editing out a lens flare and they accidentally left the ghost. And so that's what that drift is. But they have increased and changed some of the surroundings. There's no longer ducks, which is interesting, or water birds, or whatever you want to call them. I think they're ducks. They look like ducks.
We decided to get rid of the wildlife.
Yeah, the wildlife is gone, and they've increased the amount of foliage and trees surrounding the lake and the cabin.
Interesting.
Which could be them touching stuff up, and what the indicator is that they're changing some of the aspects of what's happening to fit with the storyline for Multiverse of Madness and the beginning of that movie. Because if we're following this the same way, because how they did the Sam Raimi shot, our point of view would not be looking at someone floating down towards the cabin. Our point of view is the camera moving in towards the cabin. So the thought process there would be that it's Doctor Strange. We are in his eyes. That's what he is seeing, is him moving towards the cabin to figure out what's going on.
I see.
Interesting. Which is what they're saying it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense rather than some weird astral figure floating in from off screen. It would make more sense to it being his perspective rather than showing him. You show his perspective of the situation.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So,
I'm really curious about that interaction between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, because they don't really interact before this. So
Not really, and they've already admitted there was supposed to be 2 minor scenes, I believe is what they had said. He was supposed to show up as literally a cut blip, so literally like a half-second shot of him during one of the commercials, and then there was supposed to be him trying to speak to Scarlet Witch at the end of the series.
which is
those are
why they're making this edit and making sure that we understand that he is directly tied to her. It's the same thing that we're seeing a lot more to feed into Multiverse of Madness right now, even with the Shang Chi trailer that just came out.
So it still messes up with the voices. So are they going to replace the kids' voices that she hears for the whole reason for her to set off with Strange's voice?
I don't think so.
That's where it gets really disjointed for me, is because you have Strange coming in. If this is Strange, okay, he's coming in to talk to her, but then she gets set off by her kids screaming for her, and she, flies out of the cabin. So I don't. I think they should just leave it alone. Just they can play it an entirely different way.
They could have. I actually tend to agree with you. If you would have done this as the original cut,
yes,
kind of made this point across, and then you hear him at the last second, you hear the kids screaming, and then maybe hear him not calling her Scarlet, but saying Wanda.
Right.
And that's when her eyes snap open. That would have been a good way to actually cut that scene, to have him be the last voice right after the kids scream.
Right.
So he snaps her back out of the astral plane.
Right. Instead of him just flying in there, which doesn't make sense. But
I legitimately think a big chunk of that was it was an homage shot.
Yeah.
It was a Sam Raimi classic, and they're like, oh, well, that's leading into his movie, so let's go ahead and shoot it this weird long one shot pulling from way back and straight up to a close-up scene. And I literally think that was the entire purpose of it, was this just an homage shot, which, you know, people do that sometimes. So,
Well, and speaking of the Hulk, and to Bobby's point, the new Shang Chi trailer does give me a little bit of hope.
it gives me a lot of hope that they're going to be
better than what
Go
you
ahead.
were seeing before, Smurf.
Yeah,
Say that
you hated the idea of this movie at first. I remember that.
I still hate the idea of this movie. But there are things that are kind of generating more towards this could be cool, especially if they're playing it the way I think they're going to play it.
Oh, you mean like you know, Best of the Best or
Nope.
Mortal Kombat or
Well, I mean that element is in there, especially we get to see it with the trailer with Abomination in the background.
Abomination fighting Wong, it appears.
Yes, which is so cool.
Yeah,
And so many elements of badassery.
so it seems to be the dominant story laying this movie out is going to be a battle for the 10 rings.
Yes.
Has control over the 10 rings.
So the bit, and this is where it gets kind of, it really depends on what Marvel is going to do with, because I mean there are a lot of inappropriations with the Shang-Chi character and a lot of stereotypical names for characters that obviously they're going to change.
Oh, yeah.
But
They've already done that. He's not his dad's not his dad.
Yeah, his dad is not his dad, but I think it is still his dad. I think because we see at the end which looks like Fin Fang Foom, which I think is Shang-Chi's father transformed. So that would make Shang-Chi an alien of some sort. That's how come he can wield the 10 rings.
What are the 10 rings?
So the 10 rings originally were in a ship that crashed, and the Mandarin went in and pulled them out and found the secret to using them. So they were actually rings that fit on his hand.
Yeah, he traditionally wears them as like finger rings.
Jewelry. Yeah, they're in ornate jewelry. But now we see the trailer where they're actual like
gauntlets
style battle rings that are on their arms. And I'm sure that each one is embedded with a different power and all of that.
Well, and that's what the 10 rings logo with the rings with the swords crossing that they've shown a bunch of different times throughout the movies. Each one of those logos has a different meaning.
Yes. And as far as each one has a different ability, like the blackness ring, the anti-gravity ring, the flame ring. I mean, there's a bunch of different elements.
Power. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the Fin Fang Foom is an actual alien dragon. So if I'm thinking they're going to go a certain way, that Shang-Chi's dad is the original owner of the rings, they're going to try and merge him with the Fin Fang Foom dragon character. And that's how come they can wield the ring so effortlessly, because they're aliens.
Well, yeah, because his father in the comic books definitely has some racist connotations attached to it.
Yes, it's not a good name. It's not a nice name, but this is a comic that was written back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody thought anything of it, but now, it's very insensitive, and I could see them changing the direction of the characters. And this is what makes the most sense to me for the story and the characters.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying. I'm not quite on the Fin Fang Foom train yet. I'm hopeful.
It may not be Fin Fang Foom, but that's who it is in the tank.
Yeah,
that is who it is in the tank.
I see that there are other dragons, and that's what makes me not fully jump on that one, just because there are a couple other dragon and stuff like that definitely play in the Shang-Chi universe already. So
well, and then you've got the dragon that's part of Iron Fist's background with the Shaolin monks and
Moons
and all of that. So that could play into it as well, and there's another sect of that religion. But I wouldn't, just given the nature of the rings and how they just look very cosmic in origin. And it may not be Fin Fang Foom, but it may be one of the dragons from his race.
Yeah, and I could see that. That's not even the part that excited me, though. That is cool.
No, the Abomination fight. That's what excited me.
Yeah, A-Bomb fighting Wong. So this is officially a fighting tournament to gain possession of the rings. That's
and how
what the
Wong
whole.
ends up in this? I mean, unless he was on an ice cream
Well,
run
'cause
and got kidnapped. I mean, how the hell did he get there?
in theory, he's the second strongest sorcerer. And
Yeah.
if Steven's away dealing with Wanda right now, he wouldn't be there for the fight. It'd be Wong.
What's his name is stronger than Wong.
But he's not there, Mordo. He's not part of it. He walked away.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of. I guess Wong would be the next strongest.
Yeah, he's the only one that would be even remotely close to matching power. But this A-Bomb appearance, which last we saw, he was in prison.
Yes, he was. He was
under
in the
the
raft.
control of Thunderbolt Ross.
That's right. He's in the raft.
And now he's magically in, assuming Madripoor is what it looks like again. Why is he there, and how is he there? And why would Thunderbolt Ross want to gain the 10 rings?
Because he's the Red Hulk.
And now that we have confirmation that A-Bomb is going to be showing up in another show in the near future, and that we're going to also have an appearance from an existing Hulk and 2 other Hulks. So they're setting up a pretty intense Hulk storyline in She-Hulk, it looks like, coming out of this.
I think so. We're getting the Red Hulk, baby. Hold on to your first appearances, baby, because it's going to shoot up. I think it was drawn around $70 last I checked.
Yeah, it's about to take a big lift, I think, and see how all this plays out. But yeah, that's the part that excites me most, because I want to see who else is there.
I know, so do I.
Are we gonna get Iron Fist? Are we gonna get someone fighting for the hand? Are we gonna get someone
Well, if we do, it'll have to be different actors.
Well, it's not gonna be what's his face playing Iron Fist. They've basically already confirmed that.
He's gone. Yeah. But maybe Silver Samurai.
We could get a Silver Samurai. Yeah. And we could get what's his face? Charlie, what it is? Daredevil, whoever he is. He is
Charlie Knox? Or what's his name? Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. But the guy who is playing Daredevil during the Netflix, he is supposed to be showing up at some point. He was there during filming for something.
Yep. He is back. Kingpin is back. They've kind of loosely confirmed he's back, in addition to Jessica Jones and the Punisher. So all of the Netflix people are coming back.
Well, sad little boy Iron Fist.
Well, Netflix characters anyway.
Huh? All the good ones,
if not the actors.
Well, no, the actors
coming back. Yes, I'm just saying.
Yeah, all the actors have been confirmed except for the one. So,
yep.
What I was saying.
Yeah, that'll be cool, and I want to see, like, there's a lot of cool ways they could throw in some interesting cameos that are like, oh yeah, that's coming too. Don't worry about it.
Just little hints.
Marvel is known for its Easter eggs and its cameos, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And they absolutely filled that trailer with.
Totally. You know what I'm waiting for? You know who's going to be in there? I already call it. I'm calling it now. You know who's going to be in there? Deadpool. This will be his first cameo appearance in the new MCU. It's going to be in the fight scene. Deadpool's in Madripoor. I'm calling it.
Is he the X-Men representative, or is he still Merkin right now?
He's still Merkin. Are you kidding? He's Merkin. I'm telling you.
It'd be interesting if we get a Weapon X reveal too during this somehow.
You never know.
That'd be an interesting way to do it. Like, not someone super, like, it's not going to be Wolverine, I don't think. But, like, maybe we get, like, Phantom X or something like that.
That'd be interesting.
We'll see. There's a lot that could come out of this. But they're saying this is going to be the big superhero reveal because the Black Widow movie is more of a, prequel / leads into future stories. But because in this movie, you know, Natasha's still alive.
Well, and they're introducing us to our new Black Widow during it,
Right.
so.
But
So yeah, I think that's going to be the big part for that one, is just we're going to know who the new Black Widow actually is. If she's going to remain as Black Widow, we'll see. But essentially her replacement.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens. We want to jump over universes and take a look at CGI creations.
Yes.
Brosnan's Black Adam, his Dr. Fate costume is going to be, they're saying it's going to be a fully digital costume. And let's hope that, unlike Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern, his CGI costume doesn't suck.
This doesn't look like a Jell-O mold sitting on someone's face.
I mean, still, even the Ares CGI costume at the end of Wonder Woman wasn't that much better. I mean, I don't want to bash on George Perez's design, and it's a classic design, but I just think the CGI just made it look like Dookie. I mean, it was.
Well, they did a decent job with I doubt. I don't know. It depends. With when they did the Justice League remake, retcon, they did a decent job with the CGI at that, with the costumes at the end. I thought it was pretty good.
I just don't understand why the choice. I mean, it's not like Pierce Brosnan's out of shape, and I mean, did he just basically go, "I'm Bond and I don't wear costumes"? I mean, I don't get it.
Maybe.
I don't know. And you know how many people are going to be trying to recreate that CGI costume in an actual, physical form.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to like. There's so many ways they could fuck it up, and I'm just hoping they don't. Like, CGI has gotten better as long as you do it right. If you render it correctly, they've done some crazy shit in the last few years since.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can look
Green
at
Lantern.
Hulk and Iron Man and freaking Spider-Man. All of them, most of them are CGI suits. So I get it, but at the same point, I don't know why they just don't hire a decent cosplayer like Yaya Han or Jessica Negri, or hell, anyone that goes down the Dragon Con could probably assemble this costume.
I was gonna say, have them do the costume design.
Yes.
Not even the design, just the actual creation.
Yeah. Just bring in a cosplayer. I don't get it, but
because they're not Hollywood, man.
I mean,
go ahead.
There's so many different things that you can make and different things that you can do as a cosplayer, as a reenactor. I mean, hell, I was in 2 different Tudor gowns this weekend, with the headpiece and the corseting and the whole bit. And I did that for under $100 a costume.
I mean, but those really impressive, super nice cosplays take hundreds of hours and the proper equipment. Like I was watching a cosplayer break down how much money and how many hours it took to make her single costume. And don't get me wrong, it's like one of the best cosplays I've ever seen.
And I'm not saying
it's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, the studio should be.
I'm not saying the Dr. Fate costume could be done for the same price as my Tudor gown and headpiece.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I understand cutting out that expense if you don't need it. As long as they do the CGI properly, I don't think they really need the suit.
Yeah, but CGI is not cheap either. Even now, like it's
especially with the rendering and the suit capture and the man hours involved. I think you're coming out on like
you're still looking at thousands of dollars.
Yeah, what's a couple grand in costuming for one character versus the man hours involved with rendering and imposing a costume.
Yeah, but they already have to do a lot of that rendering for the background scenery anyways, so it's not that hard to just add additional man hours to each bed. But
Yeah, but everyone else that's in this movie is not doing CGI.
Yeah.
They're all
that's
doing
weird.
actual costumes. Black Adams is real. Shazam is real. The Shazamily is all real. It's all
Such a big
practical.
There's Damily.
Yeah. The Marvel family.
The Marvel, like all of his brothers and sisters from the first movie.
Mary
Well-
Mary Marvel's costume looks spectacular. Oh
Yeah,
my
it
god.
looks crazy
Bird
cool.
Smash.
Yeah.
The only intricate thing about Dr. Fate is that helmet. I can understand Pierce Brosnan not wanting to wear that fucking thing because that's a headache waiting to happen. But the rest of the costume,
Yeah, but there's a way you could modify it to where it wouldn't be a fucking bell ringer, you know?
I mean, think about the number of other characters who have to wear uncomfortable helmets for their costumes.
you mean like that crazy Suicide Squad guy with the big ashtray for a helmet?
I mean, I was thinking Judge Dredd personally.
You know, the only person that had an issue with that was Stallone
Sylvester.
because he wanted to show off his pretty face. Carl Urban was fine with it.
Oh,
Carl
Carl
was
Urban did a much better job in that character. So.
Yeah. Carl Urban was like, character wears it, I wear it. Arrgh!
Yeah, because Dredd's
Carl
never
Urban
supposed
is
to
a
take his
man.
helmet off.
Yep.
I mean, look at what Pedro Pascal, he had to shoot that almost 2 full seasons of that show, and he gets his helmet off twice the entire time.
Yeah.
So Pierce can, suck it the fuck up and wear the helmet for a little bit.
Put on his big boy panties.
Yeah. I think it would be done better if it wasn't CGI. That's my big thing. CGI, you can screw up real easy. If you have a good costume designer, that's harder to fuck up.
I'm just wondering if the CGI costume is going to kill the entire movie.
It's going to cost a shitload, depending on how much he's actually in it.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily even the budget, but, I mean, what's the thing that everybody remembers the most about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie?
A stupid Jello mask.
Exactly.
Which makes me angry because I love Green Lantern. So that made me very angry.
I mean, yes, the movie itself sucked.
Oh my God, Smurf.
Smurf, you like him.
That looks better than the one they got on Ryan Reynolds in the movie.
That's true. That is true.
At the end of Deadpool 2, he shoots himself in the head when he's reading the script.
Which is earned.
It is earned.
I don't think it was okay. The script wasn't good, but I don't think the script was the biggest problem with that movie. And I think that's the point, that the CGI costume was done so poorly that's the running joke. Like,
Well, not just costume, like they fucked up some pretty big stuff with the CGI work in that. And his costume was definitely the most notable thing, but they also, fucked up Parallax and they
Ryan Reynolds just wasn't a good choice for Hal. It really
fucked
should have
up
been
Oa
Nathan Fillion.
in general.
It really should have been Nathan Fillion.
it should have been, which is why Nathan Fillion, when he did the voice acting for the same character,
He does a good job, yeah. I'll agree to that. Well, I'm hopeful for the new series because it looks like they're taking it in a very different direction. So,
speaking of voice acting and animation and whatnot, has anybody watched The Long Halloween yet?
I've got it. I'm sitting on it. I'll probably watch it on the plane tomorrow. So
didn't get a chance. I'm gonna watch it this week.
Yeah, I have it. So Tank, when I see you this week, I'll get you a copy of mine, or after my copy.
Awesome, that'd be great.
I don't want to watch it right away because then I got to wait for part 2.
But it's coming out in the month of July.
Yeah, it's coming out next month. It's not a big gap.
I don't want to wait. What part of I don't want to wait? I want the whole thing.
Patience has never been your strongest suit.
No.
Hey, don't be greedy. Be happy that we're getting
a
it.
patient man.
Be happy and hopeful, I guess.
I am hopeful. Happy is debatable.
Drink more wine, you'll be happier.
Yeah.
All right, I'll drink more wine.
All right. So let's see.
Okay, Bobby, I'll drink more wine.
Yeah, I know. It was an arm twister there. Okay, so other movies that are coming out next month that at least that I'm really fucking excited about is the Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans. this is the movie that's supposed to wrap up the Tales of Arcadia.
Yep.
This is a series
the big
that
finale.
started back in the first one. First season of Troll Hunters came out in 2016.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
5 years in the making.
And I think
It
it's some
looks
of Del
cool.
Toro's best work. I love the characters. I'm absolutely. I think it's great. I'm so excited to see how this all plays out.
I really liked the last series they did, and I'm excited to see them incorporated into the Troll Hunter universe. I mean, they already did that pretty overwhelmingly with the Alien and the Troll Hunter one, but the Wizard one was kind of left out. And they're going to have to integrate that in, as well as create a good narrative through the course of this movie to resolve it. I really hope he's got it in, but I have confidence considering how good this series has been.
Yeah.
He's done a good job so far.
It'll be out in just a couple of weeks, and we will definitely be doing a full review on it.
Oh, yeah. Pull it in.
What is the exact release date, Bobby?
July 21st.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Netflix.
Which
So
is
I
really
had
good.
honestly forgotten it was supposed to come out this summer, and then Netflix sends me that reminder at the end of the month about all of the things that I might be interested in for the next month. And so that popped up on my phone, and I was like, fuck yes.
I've been trying to keep up with their movie of the week thing, but I got lost.
Yeah, no.
I've caught most of them, I think, but there's been a few where I'm like, I have no idea what the movie is actually being. I don't know what it is. Which one is it?
I finally watched Stowaway, and that was just garbage. Fuck that film. Oh, I was angry at the end of that thing.
I didn't make it through the whole thing. I made it through about 20 minutes, and I was like, this is not very interesting.
No, and I was just like, mother. Ugh.
They're really trying very hard to get into the hard sci-fi market, and they're just not nailing it.
They are not. I think they're better with the Troll Hunters 3 Below, those 3 aliens. That's better sci-fi than what I watch. And I love Kendrick. She's great, but it's just I can't. Oh my god, it was just so horrible.
It sucks that hard, huh?
Oh my god,
I don't think it was
Don't
that.
waste my time, basically.
Watch the whole
Don't
thing.
waste your time. The story goes absolutely nowhere. And
All
as much as, like I said, as much as I love Anna Kendrick and the girl can do no wrong, but oh my god, I was just furious at the end of the film because I was just like, well, that was fucking pointless. And yeah. No.
I think the only thing I watched on Netflix this week was rewatching the season 2 finale of Umbrella Academy. But that's just because that's really cool. And
You're not wrong.
the Sparrow Academy coming up, and they got me wanting to watch it again.
Yeah, the only thing I'm rewatching is 7 Deadly Sins because the new season came out today.
Oh, that's right. That did come out.
Yep. And I turned it on and I was like, I have no fucking idea what was going on.
What am I watching?
Time to back up.
So I restarted the 5th or 4th season. But I mean, I'm excited about it. That's like the best anime Netflix has, so
That's not
Okay.
bad.
Sure.
I wouldn't disagree. I like
Yeah.
Baku personally, but that's just because the fight scenes are ridiculous.
I don't like that style of animation, but
Oh, okay.
it's all personal preference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that is a close-up of Smurf's chin, everyone. If you wanted to see that, that was very nice.
So
Damn, you're ugly.
we're all
Just see
waiting
what
for
I gotta
Troll
say.
Hunters.
Yes.
No, I'm just excited to see it. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
Now, another movie that we are hesitant about coming out, and that is Sing 2.
Okay, so Sing 1 is like my ultimate guilty pleasure movie. I've probably watched that movie like 40 times. It's one of the few movies I like enough to own, even if it is digital.
It's not even a guilty pleasure for me. I legitimately love that movie.
The music is so good.
Taron Egerton somehow playing a gorilla singing Elton John is amazing.
It is.
It gets me every single time. I'm like, this is beautifully done.
It really is. And like that entire movie was just so much better than I expected it to be.
Well, and that him doing that is what got him the part to actually play Elton John in Rocket Man.
Is it really? I didn't realize that.
One of the reasons, yes.
Apparently Elton hadn't seen that performance, and he saw that, and he's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And so,
well, and then they worked together on Kingsman 2,
and then they did that, and then apparently, like, that's a big chunk of it was he knew he could sing his songs and actually keep up with it and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, personally, I think he did a better job than Elton John did, at least in that specific song. But
you know what? I wouldn't fight you on that. He did a ridiculously good job in that.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm very hesitant about a sequel to a movie that was that good. And I'm more hesitant because I'm looking at the trailer right now in the background, and I am seeing no musicians I know listed in the credits, which is not a good sign. I'm seeing, like, I'm assuming some of these are bands I just don't know, like Hazley, Farrell,
Halsey, yeah,
Halsey.
Yeah, Dono.
Who?
Dono.
Yeah, it's Dono.
Yeah,
it's modern music. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's just like the reason that movie was so great is because they had music that spanned like a 30-year period.
Oh yeah,
so
they
it
had
appealed to so many people.
Yeah, they had the classic standards. They had punk. They had pop. They had, everything. They went from across the scale. Minus, I didn't really hear any hip hop, but besides that, they went through everything and put something in there.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the benefits of the sequel though is that they do have the original voices,
which is good,
coming back.
Well, and I think necessary, honestly.
Oh yeah, there's no way you could do it without the original voices because the entire film is driven by singing and vocals. So it's like there's no way you could create this movie without it. I'm really
brought in a brand new cast, but they didn't, and I appreciate that.
Well, they could have replaced everybody, I guess, but
that's what they would have had to do.
You would have had to replace the characters, not just the actors.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But then that's the part that makes me hesitate on this movie is because the first one was structured well and it told a complete story.
Mm-hmm.
So what is happening that sets off the chain of events for the next one?
So it looks like they're trying to start a show in Las Vegas, and they're trying to, I don't know
why.
It looks like it's somewhat related to The Voice.
Well, and see, that's the confusing part. Like, why is the story in the first one was about rebuilding his theater?
Yeah.
And they get it done by the end. The end of the movie is the theater is complete. All of these people helped make it happen. It's big and beautiful. Neighborhood comes together.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're moving to Vegas? Why?
Taking Joe on the road, baby.
Yeah. I
Sounds
think
very Madagascar. And I don't know, it seems unnecessary. I would not mind legitimately if they just forego the second movie and just put out an album of all these characters singing, as that'd be cool.
I agree. I would like another couple songs by each of them, except for the elephant. I was never super big on the elephant.
I can understand that. That is a taste one, so I get that.
All the rest I adored. It's just I don't know. She was like too poppy.
Well, I
But
mean,
not like the right kind of pop for me.
I was gonna say that kind of was the character.
Yeah. But then you had like the pig, and that was as poppy as it comes. That was Taylor Swift.
And did a better job than Taylor Swift did.
Well, that's not a high bar. But yes, you're right.
And then Scarlet doing her punk rock, that was cool. I enjoyed it.
And it's like, I'm really curious to see how this goes because I love the hell out of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of my more watched movies as an adult because I could just throw it on when I'm reading, and the music is so pleasant that it's wonderful to have in the background.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It comes out sometime. I think it's August. Let me see. I got like 2 seconds left. Apparently there's a pig that jumps off of a thing. Christmas. So it's out around Christmas. So it's shooting for that really big day. I think that's when the first one came out.
I believe that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it much later.
Same here.
Sorry?
Same here. I saw it at home with the kid. She wanted to see it.
It was just such a stupid sounding concept. That's why it was such a surprising success.
What, singing animals? You thought that was gonna fail?
I thought it was gonna be lame, is what I thought.
Gotcha. You thought it'd be successful financially, but be shitty.
Yeah. But no, it's actually really good.
What?
All right, what else?
Let's see. Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker is leaving.
Yay!
Yeah, very quick out for her, actually.
These rumors have been circulating for over a year. Chris Chibnall has destroyed the Doctor Who franchise by running it right into the ground and just writing some of the worst sci-fi imaginable and destroying and just shitting on the Doctor Who fans. I mean, the ratings have tanked. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. And
I couldn't continue watching.
See, the weird thing is, I don't put this on her performance as Doctor Who. I put this on the story writing of Doctor Who.
Which is Chibnall. He's the one has done this. But I mean, Whittaker's just, I don't know if she's limited by the material or just limited in general, because she's still not even delivering it in a palatable way. It's just the most interesting character was one of the companions, and he's not even coming back for the next season.
See, and from my perspective on this is that it fully is the writing that killed it. Because I've seen her before. She is not a bad actress.
I mean, she's not. She was in Broadchurch. She does a very good job in Broadchurch. I just don't know if she is a good doctor.
No, maybe you could be right. Maybe it's just not the right character.
I don't think it's a good marriage, and I think it was just forced.
All of the above.
I push the writing was the issue more than her acting was the issue.
Oh, the writing is the worst. I mean, it is absolutely the worst. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, I'll take a bubble wrap monster any day of the week now after watching Chibnall's attempt at this atrocity that he's trying to pitch as decent writing, especially coming from a kid who was on a panel that attacked the writers back in the 80s for writing such horrible Doctor Who episodes. And you can look it up. Chibnall is like a little kid, just like, well, this is the worst writing ever. And now he can.
Yeah, he's the cause of it now. Yeah,
pretty much. So I just want it over and done with. I don't even know if I'll come back for this season.
Are you gonna come back for the boy doctor?
You know, it's not even so much that they went with a female, because that's not the issue.
No. I mean, the kid that they're casting legitimate looks like a teenage boy. Or at least the
Probably.
one that they're proposing right now, Ollie Alexander,
Yeah.
looks like he might be 16.
But they haven't confirmed him yet.
Not confirmed, but he is the front runner right now.
And you never know. I mean, it's difficult to say who the next doctor is going to be. I just think, not that there was anything bad with having a female doctor. Just let's just set that straight now. I like the idea, and I think they just forced it too soon. They didn't prepare, and Chibnall's not a skilled enough writer to handle that dynamic. He's just not. It's and he's just come up with horrible tropes, horrible, just bad morals that he just has to cram down your throat. So it's fine. But I wouldn't mind another female doctor. And I know, I can't remember her name, but she showed up. She was another female doctor from another timeline or some other storyline, which we never really got an explanation for. She was just thrown in there. So we don't know.
Is he going to remain the writer, or
I don't know.
That's the issue.
Yes.
You can,
he needs to be gone. He needs to be done. Or Doctor Who is over.
We can question her ability a little bit to play the character, because maybe she doesn't just have the right dynamic to fit the character, but the writing was so poor that I don't think it matters. You could have stuck David Tennant in there. You could have stuck what's his name? Matt Smith in there. You could have stuck any of the doctors in there, and it would have played out just as terribly in the storyline.
Most likely. I don't know. I mean, the delivery may have been a little bit different instead of this spastic head case. I don't know. But yeah, the writing, Chibnall's got to go. And I don't know who you're going to get in there to replace him. That's the other part. But I'm sure all of the fans are calling for Chibnall's head if the ratings aren't screaming enough as they plummet drastically.
Well, that's the weird part. I haven't seen anybody calling him out at this point,
which is bullshit.
Yeah. The only reason we've heard about a potential person for the replacement with Ollie Alexander is because Russell T Davies brought his name up.
Hell, I'd take Russell T Davies back any day of the week right now.
At this fucking point, yeah. But it's unfortunate for her because it kind of cast a negative light on that aspect of like, oh, if it was a male, she would have. Well, no, because the writing sucked.
It leaves a stain on the franchise that's not easily removed. I mean, the franchise takes a major hit on this, and it's just. We're talking about one of the longest running. We are talking the longest running franchise in history, and this is a horrible thing to do to it.
I mean, we knew we were going to get a decrease in quality because it has kind of been dipping for a while. I'm just hoping they recover from it.
I don't know how. I mean, without scrapping the entire executive producing staff, I mean, you basically got to start almost completely over because they've just completely ran this into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. They've got to start. They've got to start at the top and just rework the entire thing, because I know there even like former Doctor Who alum are like, what the hell's going on? Why? I mean, you have actresses and actors like Billie Piper and John Barrowman and Matt Smith. Like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? This is horrible.
Well, and I would like to point out, across all of them coming out, none of them have said anything about her.
Nope. No. They haven't.
None of them have said anything about her performance as being the issue.
Nope.
And I don't think that I don't think that she's the problem. I think that she's not the right person to play this character, and that it doesn't matter her gender. I just don't think she's the right person. But I think that the writing and everything else has gone so downhill that the storyline isn't interesting anymore.
It's
Nope.
not.
It's not.
It's too. I want to say clean, but it's too surgical of an approach to the character.
Well, it's not even surgical. You're being spoon fed the plot.
And that's what I mean. That's kind of what I mean. I'm like, there is no weird in a good way. Which is what you should expect with Doctor Who is it does weird, but it does it in a way that keeps you kind of coming back.
And you think it through for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I mean, hopefully we'll see a big change because I would like to be a fan of the series again.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
What was that, Bobby?
I said, do you think if we all blink, we'll be transported back in time to when there was a good Doctor Who on?
I mean, if that's the case, then we should warn the whole world about Corona.
I got my TARDIS stashed in the basement. I'll be right back.
And here I'm just thinking, oh my, the days of good Doctor Who. But fortunately, that's mostly available on streaming now.
Oh yeah, I still will go back and honestly watch Tennant's run.
Mhm.
That was my favorite
Matt.
run.
Eccleston's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't mind Matt Smith. I'll watch this too, but my favorite run personally was Tennant, just because of his ability to kind of flip flop between that crazy serious and just chaotic goofiness. Really drew me in.
Yeah. Well, that is everything that we have on the agenda for the evening, unless you guys want to add anything else.
I guess not.
Watch Superman and Lois.
The new
Superman and
Alien
Lois.
game looks really cool.
Right. You guys
I
have
have a theory. I say before the end of the season, or we end the season on Doomsday. We've got Reign of Superman going on. The only person missing is Supergirl. I honestly think we'll get Doomsday by the end.
And I hope you're right, because that'd be a cool way to end it.
I think so. And it would bring me back to season 2.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's actually done in a very interesting approach to superhero characters, which you don't really see often. A very human-driven storyline.
Mm-hmm. It is probably the Arrowverse's biggest gem right now, I think. And I hate to say that, especially with Flash, but Flash is limping to the finish line right now. And I don't know if because a lot of it's Rona and a lot of it's staff changing, a lot of.
Seems like there's a lot of disinterest in being there right now, unfortunately.
Yep. You can see it. You can see it with everybody, and they're all gone. They've all left. So
yeah.
But Superman and Lois is remarkably good. So
yes,
you go.
That's my thing for the day. That's the
Yep. And on that bombshell, who knew Superman would be the greatest show ever? We shall leave you with that. We'll be back next week. Give us a like, give us a share. We also would love to hear your comments in the space below. But in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind.
Stream has ended. And